Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to GrizzlyBearSims YouTube channel, and welcome back to another Courseplay tutorial. This is sort of considered to be an addendum to my Working with Grass series that I had previously recorded. It was a three-part series where I showed you how to set up a mowing course with Courseplay, how to set up a course picking up the grass with the forage wagon, and then also we went a little bit of a step further and I covered how to how to pick up the grass or lift the grass with a forage harvester. The one thing that I left out, and wasn't necessarily on purpose, I was going to cover this with I was actually going to cover this in the harvesting section when we went to pick up the straw, but then I got to thinking that, well, we really don't have to tedder or rake the straw. So I suppose maybe I did sort of fail to mention this in the series. So I did want to cover it, and it was a question that came up in my live stream yesterday, and so I promised that I would cover this. So basically what we did in the live stream yesterday, and when I say yesterday I meant Saturday, April the 1st, was I mowed this field once again. We are obviously on Pine Cove Farm, and we're in between episodes 15 and 16 in that range. So you might be watching this tutorial here a little bit before those episodes occurred, and of course the live stream is already up on the channel. So don't get confused if you see things kind of happening out of sequence because of that reason. But when I cut this field in the live stream, I used, what did I use? I used this tractor, the Challenger, and I used the butterfly deck on the back and the single mower on the front that had the total working width of 9 meters. So what I did was I set up a 9-meter course to mow this field, okay? Because I wanted all of this to be hay instead of grass. I chose to use the Challenger on it because I wanted the wide swath. Okay, there's an issue with the Corona Big M and the wide swath. I've covered that before. I'm not going to cover that in this video because it doesn't really apply. But if you are using the standard mowing process, just go ahead and set up the course the same way that I showed you how to do it with the Corona Big M. It's the same process. It's just your working width is going to be slightly narrower. Okay, so we did that. Then I come along, and in the live stream I manually tethered this to basically turn the grass into hay, and I did that with the John Deere tractor and the tedder that's pulling behind it. Now I could have set up a Courseplay route for this. The tedder actually has a working width of 13 meters. So again, I would have one course that would be set up for the mower. That would be at 14.8. I would have to have a second course set up for the tedder at 13 meters, okay? And then of course we need to basically rake this into a windrow. So we need to use our windrower machine that I have over here, and that is yet altogether a completely different working width. So the confusion in the question that came about yesterday in the live stream was, well, what course do I use in my forage wagon to then pick up and transport to a location? So for example, in the tutorial that we did, I think it was the second tutorial in the grass series, where I showed you how to pick up the grass with the forage wagon, and of course that was already in a windrow, and we just used the working width of the Corona Big M. So basically, let me just show you. We'll get up in the tractor here. We'll get out of the tractor. I'll bring up Courseplay, and in that second tutorial, we basically used this Field 4 mow southeast to north 14 meters, okay, because that was the working width of the Corona Big M mower, okay. But if we are going to now rake this field, and we're basically raking it with a rake, with a windrower that measures 14.8, we need to basically set up the course for the windrower, which I did right here. Rake, Field 4, rake southeast to north 14.8 meters, okay. And we're going to load that course in, okay. I'm going to load that course in, and then we're going to add our field for grass to silo. This is our course that basically runs around the exterior of the field once the forage wagon is full. So we're going to mend this course at the end. So now we have two courses. So when this guy here gets started going down and raking the grass into the windrow, this guy, the yellow Challenger pulling the forage wagon, he will basically follow that course once he's done, and of course, let this guy get a little bit of a head start because he's going to be moving a little bit slower. Well, for one, it's a less powerful tractor, but also keep in mind that within probably not even the first windrow, this guy's going to fill up and have to go and dump. So really just make sure that you give this guy enough of a head start that this guy doesn't get in a traffic jam with him. But once this guy fills up the first time, this guy's going to continue raking all the way across the field, and he's going to be done in no time because this guy's going to have to obviously go back, return to the main farm silo to dump, and then he'll come back and then resume his course. So really, that's the only difference. And so again, my apologies for sort of leaving this out. What I should have done, what I realize now, hindsight's 2020, as they say, is I should have basically shown all of the different variety of examples that one might, encounter when they need to use Courseplay to do something related to grass. But obviously I didn't do that. So that's really the only difference. So let me just recap. So because we've got working widths that are different, okay, if they were all the same working width, you could basically create one course and they would all follow suit. But here on this map, we're using equipment that all have different working widths. So again, the mower that I used to mow this and leave this as a wide swath was the butterfly deck on the back of the Challenger and the small mower on the front, and that had a working width of 9 meters. Okay, so I had a course that was set, there it is, 9 meters. I would then create a tedder course, which I did not do because I manually tethered that grass, but that would have been 13 meters because the tedder is a 13 meter working width. And then finally, right over here, the rake has a working width of 14.8. So it is the course that we want to use, the rake course. So again, field 4 rake southeast to north, 14.8, 0 headlands. That is the course that we want to use for this guy to automatically collect the hay, transport it back to the main silo, dump it, come back, rinse and repeat until all the hay is off this field. So I hope that this has helped clear the air if there was any confusion. Basically, setting up Courseplay routes, all of these things are all taking the exact same course. It's this field work course right here, the one with the squiggly line at the top and the gear and the hammer and the wrench. That is field work. If you hover over these, unfortunately, I don't know if this is a bug or not, but when you hover over one that's pre-selected, it doesn't show you what it is. So oftentimes that's why I click off of it and then I come back to it and I hover over it and it shows field work down at the bottom. So again, it's a squiggly line with the wrench and the gear and the hammer for field work. You're going to basically use this Courseplay profile, if you will, for all of these different things, but just make sure that you set your working widths accordingly and it'll all do it at the same time. And you can even get multiple courses going at the same time. Once you get your mower course going, of course the mower is going to be a little bit slower than the tedder. So I would have the mower get at least halfway through the field, then start your tedder course, and then within maybe after the tedder has made a pass or two, then you can start your rake course. And then basically after the rake course has completed at least one length of the field and is coming back down, go ahead and start your forage wagon course. And of course the forage wagon course is going to take ages to complete, because even at 50,000 liters, which this is the largest in-game forage wagon that there is, it's gonna fill up pretty quick. And of course he's gonna be delayed because he's gonna have the long trip around to the farm to dump the hay into the silo or the grass into the silo or whatever, and then return and resume his work. So I'll be covering aspects of this once again once we get into our harvesting season here on Pineco Farm, and then you'll see how we're going to collect the straw. And of course, we can collect the straw multiple ways. We can collect it with the forage wagon, which we'll do here on this map as a general rule, because we're kind of handling everything in bulk instead of bale. But you can also bale your straw and everything with Courseplay as well. So make sure that you tune in for those. If you're not a subscriber of the channel, please consider subscribing. I do appreciate that. And also please consider liking these videos. That is good medicine, good motivation for me, because I know that people are appreciating these videos, that they're getting something out of it. And that's all I really need to continue to create these videos, is just the motivation and knowing that people are getting assistance from these and it's helpful to you. So again, my apologies for kind of leaving this stuff out, because I realize that not everyone uses the exact same equipment, and I guess the only difference, or the one thing that I have left out, is really the baling piece of the hay process, or the grass process. But I will be covering that in the harvest section, and really it is more or less the same thing. You're going to set your working width based on most likely it would be well, actually it would be the rake, the windrower. That would be the course, because you're going to want your tractor with your baler following this course, because that is going to be where your swath is going to be. So all simple stuff. There is no failure. There is no failure with this. If you select the wrong thing, don't worry. Go back and try it again. Watch these videos again if you're confused, and or ask me questions. Contact me via the comment section below the video, or you can reach out to me via my email address. My email address is GrizzlyBearSims@gmail.com. Again, that's GrizzlyBearSims@gmail.com. Or you can also find me over on PCSG or the Three Dudes Gaming Network. You can post or leave me a direct message, a private message, or whatever. Get in contact with me either way, whatever works for you. Dial up the bat phone if you want to, and I will be sure to reach out to you and help you in any way that I possibly can. Until next time, our next series most likely will be harvesting. So stay tuned for that, and that will be coming very, very soon as I can get some time away from my job and my travels and everything else to set aside and get those courses or get those programs recorded. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. God bless you all. Bye-bye.